Some people have seen where God has brought you from. You don't really understand it. They don't know your story.
You don't know
The things.
Good evening, Jake's family, here in the UK and all around the world. How are you all doing? I hope you're all doing well and fine. Welcome to Michelle Hemmings' Organ Donation Life Stories. On this show, you'll be hearing a lot more information about organ donation. You'll be hearing from other post-transplantees about their journey. Also, you'll be hearing from other nurses and doctors, all from organ donation and from other organizations. I'd just like to give God the glory, because if it wasn't for God and my donor, I wouldn't be here to tell you my story and my journey. But I am blessed and I'm so happy to be here. Right, our special guest is behind the scenes eagerly waiting. So I'm going to bring on Geraldine Parker, who is a marketing manager for organ donation. Welcome, Geraldine.
Good
Hi.
evening. Thank you, Michelle.
I'm so glad you're here. Thank you
Thank
ever
you
so
for having
much.
me.
And how are you feeling today?
Wonderful. Yes, wonderful and blessed. So yes, good day.
Great. Nice, lovely. Okay, can you please, well, we all know your name. Could you tell me your title and the area you live in the UK?
Yes, certainly. So my job title is BME Marketing Manager for NHS Blood and Transplant. And I currently live in Bristol, so in the southwest of the UK.
Lovely. I've never been there, but I would love to, travel down to Bristol one day. Yeah,
Yes, it's a lovely city. Yes, very diverse and yes, just a robust city and lots going on, very culture. So yeah, really great city.
Okay, great. Okay, tell me a little bit about yourself and the work you do at NHSBT, please.
Yes, so I've worked for NHS Blood and Transplant for almost 23 years now.
Wow.
I work in the marketing department, and my role there is to encourage people from the Black and Asian community to become blood and organ donors. And so I lead on lots of marketing campaigns. I lead on a stakeholder engagement piece, managing different stakeholders from different communities, working with them to encourage them to raise the awareness within their community about the need for either Black blood donors or the need for Black and South Asian communities to become an organ donor.
Oh, great. Okay. And what is the 2020 law change and why was it necessary?
Yes, so the law was changed back in 2020, May 2020. And the reason being is they changed the law in Wales. And we noticed when they changed the laws in Wales that more people were able to perform more transplantations in terms of people dying, and when they are deceased, they're willing then to donate their organs. So there's more people receiving those life-saving transplants from deceased donors. So it meant more people's lives were being saved or improved because more people were able to receive an organ transplant. And so hence England wanted to follow suit because there's so many people on the waiting list waiting for transplants. And then the best way forward was to make the system where what we say is you act to the system in prior to 2020 meant that you had to opt in, meaning that you had to register and then you're on the organ register. But what happened in 2020, everyone across the UK that was automatically put on the register. So that meant that if you don't want to be an organ donor, you still have that choice by taking yourself off the register. And all that means is recording your decision on the NHSBT organ register to say, I don't want to be an organ donor. But everyone at the moment is automatically put onto the register, but you still have the choice to take yourself off.
Okay, and we're trying to encourage people to stay on the organ register list, aren't we?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Are there any particular reasons why donation rates are lower in the BME community?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question, Michelle. And I think there's lots of reasons to this. One, I think there's not enough awareness amongst the Black and Asian community for the need for them to become an organ donor. And the reason why I say that is because, unfortunately, for people from the Black or South Asian community are more likely to need an organ transplant because of so many different reasons. But for a couple just to mention, one, because of their health reasons, a lot of people from our community suffer from either diabetes, which can lead to organ failure, or hypertension. So high blood pressure, hypertension, again, could lead to organ failure. Again, a lot of us suffer from, within the Black community, suffer from sickle cell disorder. And again, that can lead to organ failure. So because a lot of us suffer from these diseases or disorders, we're more likely to need an organ transplant. So unfortunately, there's so many people on the waiting list from the Black and South Asian community. And I think what it is, people from our community are not aware that there's a lot of people that they're not aware that they're not aware that when you die, you can donate your organs. And when you donate your organs, you're likely to help somebody from your community. So what tends to happen, Michelle, is when somebody dies in hospital, and the specialist nurses approach their loved ones to say, would you like to become an organ donor? Because they're not aware and they don't fully understand what it means about organ donation, they refuse it. And so that means there's a lot of people from the Black community waiting, but there's not a lot of people from the Black or South Asian community willing to donate. And I think it's a lack of awareness, that's one. And I think there's a lot of myths, and there's a lot of culture, a lots of culture myths that's been kind of passed down from different generations. I think one of that stems from when the Black and South Asian community came over to England, and I think the way how they were treated in the NHS. So because of that, it's drenched in their memory. That's passed on to their generation, and so that they have that. There's this little of distrust within the Black and South Asian community within the NHS. So that's one of the reasons, I think. And again, I said because of the lack of awareness, and again because I think people just feel that if they donate their loved ones' organs, they're not going to treat their bodies with respect or with dignity. And I know a lot of people from the Black and the Asian community like to have burials, and they like to make sure that the bodies are intact. But I just want to encourage people and let people know that the way how the clinicians and the doctors and the nurses, the way how they do take the organs from the deceased body is done in a decent and a dignified way, so that your loved ones are able to have the funerals and burials that they would like to have.
Thank you for that. Thank you. Okay, why do we need people to be organ donors, especially within the Black and the Asian community?
Yes, so why do we need them? So NHS Blood and Transport revealed that last year that 121 people from the Black and South Asian communities donated their organs after they died last year, and that's the highest number to date. The figure has increased by about 51% in the last 5 years, but there's still over 969 people from the Black and South Asian community that are waiting for an organ transplant, and that's far too high. And sadly, what's going to happen is those people are waiting, but a lot of them are going to die. And the reason being is because, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of people from our community are not willing to donate their organs after death. And we need to receive organs from our own community, so from our own ethnicity. It's just that it's a better match when we receive it, a better blood match, a better tissue match, and it's likely that that organ will have a longer life. So that's why we're encouraging people to come forward from the Black and Asian community, consider it. Have those conversations with your family and with your loved ones, because many people from our community sadly are dying because there's not enough of us willing to sign up, be on the organ register and say, in my decease, when I die, I am willing to donate my organs. We don't need them. We can't take them to the grave. You know, we can't take them. The grave doesn't want them. So why not do that humane thing and say, when I die, I've signed up. When I die, there are anyone is happy to have any of my organs, and I'm happy to, I've ticked all of those boxes. You could have my organs, because that means I'm literally having to save and improve somebody's life. And I think that's that's amazing. That's phenomenal. It's just the most beautiful gift that I believe that anybody can do.
Definitely, because if I hadn't had my transplant when I had, I was told I would have passed away after a year. So I was so glad that I had my transplant when I had it, because I was really bad. I was on oxygen 24/7. I was in a wheelchair, and every last breath, every breath that I took, I thought it was my last breath. So I'm so grateful to my donor, to Royal Papworth Hospital, and to God as well. So yes, please make that decision and talk to your family, have that conversation.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of people out there who's waiting in the beds at hospital, sick, and they need that organ. They need that organ now. If there's anybody out there who's got any questions, please put it in the chat box and we will do our best to answer them. Okay, thank you. All right, can you explain the opt-out system to our listeners?
Yes, so I think I briefly touched on that. So what happens is now is everybody's automatically put onto the organ register. But even though your name is put onto the register, you still have a choice. If you do not want to be on the organ register, we're asking you to get in contact with NHSBT, get in contact with NHSBT by either our website or by bringing our helpline number, and you can then just say that you don't want to donate your organs, and you can record that decision, your choice. You can record it on the register to say, I do not want to donate my organs. But if you do want to donate your organs, and that's what we're encouraging, I really, really do hope that people understand why we really need them to become an organ transplant, then what we're also saying is contact us and let us know what you would like to donate. You have a choice. The choice still stays with you, whether you want to be on the organ register or whether you don't. And then if you do, please get in contact and let us know what you are willing to donate.
Thank you. Just like to say good evening, Debbie, and thank you for listening to our show. Okay, Geraldine, how can the community get involved to support or promote organ donation? How can we get,
Such a great question. Thank you, Michelle. We would love so many people to get involved, and there's so many different ways that you can get involved. We run campaigns at key calendar moments constantly. We have Organ Donation Week, Black History Month, Easter, Christmas time. We're always looking at Easter time. We're always looking to work with different churches to raise the awareness within their congregation. So what we're saying, we create content and material that people can share on their social media, share with their networks, share with their families and their loved ones, so you can help us amplify the messages on social media. If you belong to a community group or to a church group that you would like us to come along and have a guest speaker, a specialist nurse, a recipient like yourself, Michelle, somebody that's received a transplant and benefited from a transplant, or get a guest speaker in from a surgeon or somebody like myself, we're more than willing to come along to any of the Zoom meetings you may be having, or any meetings that you may be having amongst your communities. We would like to come along. And again, as I said, one of the things that is stopping people from our community is the lack of awareness and education. So we like to come along and be able to educate the community, to let them know the reason why it's so important and so vital to become an organ donor. So there's so many different ways, just get in contact with us by contacting our helpline number or emailing me, geraldine.parker at nhsbt.nhs.uk. And again, just let us know, and we will be able to, if you wanted to work with you in the community. We also have what we call some community investment schemes. So we gave some funding to people to run their own community projects, raising the awareness about the need for more organ donation. So again, you can support those projects, or if you would like to run your own projects, because we do give some funding, again, get in contact with us and we can let you know how you can become one of those projects.
Great. Could you just tell our listeners, when is Organ Donation Week?
Yes, so Organ Donation Week always takes place in September, and this year it's beginning from the 20th of September. And again, there's so many different things that different creative ideas that people can do. Get in contact with us again to say this is what you would like to do during Organ Donation Week to raise the awareness about the need for organ donors within your community. It's a phenomenal time, yeah.
Yes, it is. Could you just tell our listeners your email address and phone number, just in case they want to get in touch with you?
Yes, absolutely. So the best way to probably to get in touch with me is via email. So I'll give you just my email address if that's okay. So my email address is geraldine.parker@nhsbt.nhs.uk.
Great, thank you. Okay, can you give a rough figure of how many people are on the waiting list, on the organ donation waiting list?
Yes, so let's have a look. Do some research on this. So as of the 29th of Feb 2020, there were 1,909 people from the Black and South Asian community waiting for an organ transplant.
Wow.
That's the highest number within the last 5 years.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot.
Okay, I've got a question from Debbie. She'd like to know, she wants to be an organ donor, and does it make any difference what race? Can anybody give, or is it just one certain race?
Yeah, no, it doesn't make any difference about the race. No, it doesn't matter what color, what ethnicity you are. Everybody can be an organ donor. Yeah. All we just say, Debbie, is if you're not already an organ donor, please do get in contact with NHSBT and register your decision on our organ register, and then that's it. You're there. You're registered then, which would be fantastic. And you're literally helping to save and improve people's lives. And what you're signing up to say is, when I die, I'm happy to donate my organs. But what I would say, Debbie, is have the conversation with your family. Let your family know your decision, your choice, because what happens is when we do die, and then when your family is approached by the specialist nurses in the hospitals, your family can override your decision if you haven't had that conversation with them and they don't know. And I'm sure your family would like to honor your decision. And that's why we always encourage everyone that once you sign up, have the conversation with your loved one and with your family and let them know what your choice is so they can fulfill your wishes.
Okay, Debbie just said fantastic news, and she signed up after the show. So would you like to tell our listeners and Debbie how to go about this, please?
Yeah, so she just needs to literally go onto our website and go on to find the registration page, put in NHSBT organ registration page, organ register, and that will take you to the registration page, and then she can sign up and just take it step by step.
That's great news, Debbie. You're helping somebody out there who's waiting for that special gift of life.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is the most important message you have for our listeners of the BAME community around organ donation?
Yeah, so I think in this time, Michelle, I think one of the important messages I would like to really encourage people from our BAME community is have those conversations.
Oh, yes.
Don't be scared. Don't be fearful. I know a lot of people from the BAME community don't like to talk about death for whatever reason, but I would just like to encourage you, have those conversations. Let's talk about organ donation. We need to talk about making a will. We need to talk about taking out insurance. Talk about what you would like to do in, when it comes to death, whether you would like to donate your organs. Let your family and your loved ones know. Talk about organ donation. Our community, from the Black South Asian community especially, and I keep talking about the Black and South Asian community because we are so underrepresented on the national register. So we really need to encourage our community to really consider organ donation. It's not a taboo subject. We're all going to die. And if you would like to give somebody the lease of life when you die, I mean, how phenomenal is that, knowing that it gives your loved one peace when your loved ones know that you're died, we've died, but we can, how else can I keep my memory alive, knowing that if I can donate my loved one's organs and knowing that that organ is going on to help to actually help to save or improve someone's life. I think that's, that is the greatest gift ever. So let's do it. The Caucasian community are, they're doing it. It's fine. But the Black and South Asian community are doing it, but we just need to do it a lot more.
Thank you. And is it true that one donor can save up to 9 lives?
Absolutely, Michelle, you're spot on. Yes.
Okay. Just like to say hi to Dan, who's listening. He can't see us, but you can watch this. It's being recorded, so don't worry, Dan. And thank you to all the listeners out there who's listening as well. Okay, can you just tell our listeners how they can get in touch with you and get any information about organ donation again, please, Geraldine?
Yes, absolutely. So, listeners, the best way to get in contact with me would be to email me. And my email address again is geraldine.parker@nhs.nhs.uk. That would be the best way to get in contact. You can also call us on our national helpline number, and again, they will take information down and get a message through to me. So, yeah.
Okay.
But let's do it for our community. Let's do it for our loved ones. Let's help improve people's life, just like how Michelle's life, she looks so beautiful, looks so radiant. Her life has been saved. We can do the same for so many people to say patients are waiting. Let's do it together.
Definitely. And I'm here, after 22 years of sickness, on oxygen 5 years before my transplant. And then I was on oxygen 24/7 2 years before my transplant, in a wheelchair, gasping for air. And it was really tough them days. But I'm grateful to my donor, to the Royal Papworth Hospital, and to God above, as always. And you'll be helping a lot of people out there who's waiting for that special gift of life and that organ. So please register or email Geraldine for more information, or put your messages in the chat box. But Geraldine, I would like to say a big thank you for coming on, and I hope you enjoyed this time with me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for asking me. It's just been great spending this time and be able to raise the awareness of such an important topic. And I do hope there's many people out there like Debbie that is going to follow suit, and they're going to contact us on our website and register and help save our community.
Guess what? Debbie has registered.
Wow.
Registered.
Thank you, Debbie. Well done. Was it easy? Was it easy to do, Debbie? Was it a straightforward step-by-step process?
Probably messaging a bit. Or if anything, you can email Geraldine for any information you need. Or if you want to help promote, please email Geraldine on the email address that was provided.
Absolutely. And if you want to find out more about organ donation from any different community or from the BAME community, again, just type in organ donation BME. It'll come up with our website, and you'll get a wealth of information there, so you can really read up and really be educated around organ donation and the reasons why we need people and why we went to an opt-out scheme and how it means more people now are more likely to have a transplant because people are opt-in.
Okay, great. Thank you. And Debbie said, yes, it was very easy. Great stuff. So you can spread the word and tell everybody or some of your family members. But thank you for listening. Thank you, Geraldine, for being on the show. And thank you to all our listeners. And thank you for listening to Michelle Hemmings' Organ Donation Life Stories. And I'm going to have another special guest for next week. This will be a transplantee, so you'll be hearing more about his journey. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for listening. Thank you. See you next week. Thank you, Geraldine.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Some people have seen where God has brought you from. You don't really understand it. They don't know your story.
You don't know
The things. Some people have seen where God has brought you from. You don't really understand it. They don't know your story.
You don't know
The things. Some people have seen where God has brought you from. You don't really understand it. They don't know your story.
You don't know
The things. Some people have seen where God has brought you from. You don't really understand it. They don't know your story.